Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second day of Who Does This Belong To? One of my favorite places in the world, the woods. I was inspired to make this video from up here this morning because this is a place for me where I come to really kind of remember me and what I am. And so the woods, like being in nature, most people who are drawn to these tools, humanoids, X-Men, whatever you want to call yourself, basically people who have a very different awareness, have a lot of awareness, and have a different sense of the world and what's possible. The seekers of the world basically are extraordinarily aware, and that's partly why the tool Who Does This Belong To is so valuable, is because we're always way more aware than we realize that we are. And if you don't recognize that all of that stuff that you're aware of is not yours, then you just walk around basically being lots of other people, lots of personalities. We've been talking about that a lot in Access Consciousness lately. All these personalities that we take on. And a lot of times it's actually just to try to navigate the world successfully and kind of like come out unscathed. Meaning like, like as with as few scratches and bruises as possible. And so a lot of times we love to go into nature to get the sense of peace and quiet and silence, because when we're in nature, like when I'm up here, not a lot of heads up here talking, having noisiness, as opposed to like in the airport, it's a very different energy. And nature, the energy of nature is, it's acoustical in nature. It is the energy of the earth. It's the energy of our being and our bodies. It's kind of like if you really distill you down to like the kind of like the quality of the energies that you actually be as a being and with your body, it is acoustical in nature. And when we bring in the mind, we bring in thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It is electrical energy. It's these energies that like cause interference, and so when you're around a lot of people, that's a lot of what you're aware of with who does this, why we want to use Who Does This Belong To, is to recognize that all of those electrical energies, the energies of thoughts, the mind, limitation, feelings, emotions, personalities, and a new conversation we're having right now, which is about autonomy, basically making yourself separate from everybody and everything. That's all electrical energy. And so I think for me, the tools of Access Consciousness are so valuable because they allow me to get to that acoustical space of being. That's true for me as a being, and that's true for my body. And that's actually, it's actually just really the space of oneness, beyond separation, beyond personalities, beyond all the electromagnetics is, of like what everybody thinks the world is about, which is not at all what it really truly is and what is available and possible. So when we use Who Does This Belong To, part of what is available with that tool is getting to this space, the space of oneness, the space of silence, the space of peace, the space of that acoustical energy, the space of nature, the space that we be. And so as you play with this tool, first of all, I want to just encourage you to be like watching for that space. Because you know that it's working, you know that you're letting it in. I always say there's no tool in anywhere really, but in Access Consciousness, there's no tool that works without your choice behind it. So like you have to choose the space, the difference, the peace, the ease, joy, and glory that the tools create. You have to be willing to have those in order for the tool to work. It's not really about the tool, it's about the space that it gives you. And so let's just have a little moment of that. Like, how cool is it that you can ask, who does this belong to? Is this mine? And have that space. That's the choice. That's the choice. In order to have that space, in order to be that space, you have to be willing to be really different. We keep running the stories, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the electromagnetic energies in our own world. We keep them alive by believing that they're true, by believing that they're us, because we don't want to be different. And the thing that I've seen again and again and again, and I have to remind myself all the time, is that the willingness to be different, like the being of, like when you really choose to be different, to be silent in your mind, your thoughts and your feelings, to be spacious, to be the dominant energy. I mean, in these woods, the dominant energy is nature, that acoustical energy, you know. We can be that in the middle of an airport, in the middle of a meeting, in the middle of a family dinner, in the middle of sex, in the middle of whatever it is, like a heated conversation. We can be that. The thing is that's different. When you don't jump into the soup of, you know, all of those, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions, the electrical energy, the electromagnetic energy, personalities, all of that stuff. When you don't jump into the soup, sometimes people notice that. Sometimes people notice you. Sometimes it actually pisses them off. Sometimes they're inspired. Sometimes they might really hate you for it. They might fight you. They might try to distract you out of it. They might fall in love with you. They might start to lust after you. There's so many things that people do when we be more and more space. I've had so many people that I adore basically reject me. The more spacious I become, the more people that I thought were actually like dear people in my world. I mean, they're dear to me still. I don't have any need to reject them, but just disappear from my life, you know? And that's okay. Like, you have to be willing for that. That's kind of the fallout of being you and being that space. So I wanted to just speak to some of the spaces that this tool yields today, in order to just kind of like highlight, you know, what's available for us with it, and maybe speak to some things that might be going on for you, and invite you to notice, you know, like, how comfortable are you with that much silence and space and peace and ease and joy and glory? Because it is uncomfortable to be that spacious and that quiet. And what if discomfort was like the new black, the new norm, you know, and you could actually like look for it and choose it and know that when the discomfort of the space of you shows up, you're onto something, and keep going, keep choosing, and keep using the tool. Because that's when we stop, is when we can't handle the change. We can't handle the fallout that happens in our worlds. That's when we stop. But that's when you want to keep going. And that's what we're here for. That's why we're here for a week. And hopefully you'll keep using it beyond that as well. So I hope this was a contribution. Have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow.